Thank you for joining the Be Poptastic podcast, Poptastic Nation. We are so happy that you are joining us today. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and most definitely share with your friends and family so that way they can be a part of this Poptastic podcast.
That's right.
So we are here today.
We're here in a top secret location.
Top secret location.
You can see that it's kind of, it's kind of top secret.
It's kind of top secret. So the things that we're going to be talking about, Mike said he's going to throw a winger, so I'm going to throw the winger back at him.
Oh.
Thank you for joining us on the Be Poptastic podcast. And for those of you that's joining us for the first time and you wondering what the heck is Poptastic and the Poptastic podcast, well, we'll tell you. Right? So, before you can be Poptastic, you have to put the pop in the tastic. So, the first P represents positivity. And the O.
The O stands for optimistic.
Optimistic.
And then they go hand in hand. And then
the second P
is productivity.
Productivity. And if you can be positive, be optimistic, and productive, we guarantee that those are the keys to your success. So just start.
And those are the keys to be Poptastic.
Exactly. Winger back at him.
Oh.
So we're going to talk about climbing mountains.
I like it.
Climbing mountains. In life, we have mountains to climb. I'll break it down. This past weekend, I went out to Little Rock, Arkansas, and I climbed Mount Pinnacle. Google that, Mount Pinnacle, a very beautiful mountain. So I'll break it down. So it was me and my cousin. We went out to Memphis. We hung out in Memphis for May. The next day, we ended up going to Mount Pinnacle.
Hold on. You're looking at me.
I'm looking at you, but I'm back at the camera. So
here's the thing. Like, this is the new location. We don't have the regular table in between us. I think the microphones are still gonna be all right, but you're talking to this one and I'm talking to that one.
So we got to get it back together. So we're back aligned. So I'm gonna talk to everybody that's watching right now.
We're gonna look at the camera.
Look at the camera
as much as we can
on you all, right? So here we are. This weekend, I had a nice fun trip with my cousin. We went to Memphis in May. We spent the day there, and we ended up going to Little Rock, Arkansas.
I like that. Memphis in May.
Memphis in May. I mean, that's the best time to go. I'm not going to say the only time to go, but it's a pretty cool. It's very busy. They do have a lot of different things going on in Memphis in May. So long story short, me and my cousin, we went up to Little Rock, and we went to Mount Pinnacle in Little Rock, Arkansas. Had no intentions on technically climbing the mountain. We wanted to kind of see, possibly hike around it, through some of the trails. So me being spontaneous and asking questions in a visitor center, I asked the lady that was working, I was like, hey, is that the mountain? She was like, yes, that's the tallest summit in the area. It's 1,300 feet up. And I'm like, wow. And I'm like, how long does it take to hike up there? She was like, 2 hours. 2 hours. She was like, wow. Mind you, this is the first.
That sounds nice.
2 hours, yes. But she said, I wouldn't recommend doing it right now. It's hot, right? The temperature is hot. You're gonna need tons of water. But there was something in my body, something in my bone that just kept urging me and having me long.
I mean, it's the beginning of summer.
Yeah,
it's only gonna get hotter.
Time out. Now you got to remember, we're in South. So we were already 95 degrees that day starting off. So 95 degrees, up here it was barely hitting 62.
This is true. This is true.
So there is 95 degrees. So long story short, me and my cousin decided to at least go by the base of the mountain just to check it out. Now the purpose, and I know you're thinking like, okay, Chris, you're telling me this story. Me climbing this mountain was one of the best, most beautiful, monumental. Words can't describe what I've experienced, what I felt, the motivation. It was like a rebirth. What it meant, right? So as we were approaching the base of the mountain, there was one guy. He was drenched. I mean, he was out of breath, and I was like, whoa. I'm like, man, did you just go to the top? He's like, yeah, I went to the top, man. It was beautiful. Now let's think about this, right?
Beautiful.
Did it?
I did it.
Here it is. I'm at the bottom of this mountain. Here it is. Somebody experienced the top of the mountain. They came down and they're telling me that it's beautiful. They're telling me about the views, right? Now, only thing at this point is I can only imagine what it is. So I'm sold at this point. I asked him, how long did it take you? right? Now, I didn't ask, did he run or walk, right? He said, it took me 30 minutes, right?
Dang.
That was my first motivation,
Dang,
right?
whoa.
He said 30 minutes. He had a bottle of water. Now, mind you, me and my cousin did purchase 1 bottle of water apiece, right? So I said, how many bottles of water did you have? He said, just this one. I said, that was enough? He's like, yeah. Now, mind you, I'm looking at his body, right? He's sweaty.
Totally drenched.
Drenched, right? So I looked at my cousin. I said, we got to do it.
Let's do it.
My cousin's like, man, Chris, I have asthma. That's what he told me. I said, I know. We can do it.
You got your thing? Psh, just do it.
So here it is. We set off, right? No further ado, we set off. We went up this. We start working our way up. It was one young man. He had music, like he had his little music. So we were kind of all like walking together,
Nice.
But then he took off. It was like he kind of like sped up, left. He went so far we couldn't even hear the music, and he had his little boom box, Bluetooth, booming a little loud. You can hear it. So long story short, as we started working our way up the mountain, they had markers on the ground to kind of let you know, right?
Oh, how far along you are.
How far along you are.
Nice.
So, marker 3, I'm sweating at this point. I'm like, woo, right?
It should be.
When we get to marker...
It shouldn't be easy to climb a mountain.
It should not be easy, right? And that's the whole thing about this mountain. This mountain represented life. For me, it represented success, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to get to the top, right? Nobody wants to put in the work that it'll take to get to the top, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people give up. So here it is, we're at marker 4. That same guy that, kind of sped up and went away from us, he's coming back down, right? So I asked the guy the question. I said, man, you made it to the top? He said, yeah, I made it to the top. I said, well, let's go back up. Come on. He's like, nah, man, I'm tired, man. I'm not going back, right? So that was, first thing was motivation, right?
Yeah.
Because he told me that he went to the top. Right? And I'm like, man, that was fast. Which told me we can't be that far.
It's just right there.
It's right there.
Yeah.
So as we're continuing to work our way up, we're seeing new people that we've never seen, right? So here it is. We're at marker 5. It's a group of young ladies. They're coming back. They're drenched. I said, did you make it to the top? Because I'm thinking I'm almost there.
Yeah.
They said, no, we stopped at marker 7. Marker 7. It's like, yeah, you got.
How many markers are there?
How many markers are there, right? We stopped at marker 7. It's just way too hot out here. We couldn't do it. We're done. And we had to climb. It was boulders. Like there was no more trails. You had to climb boulders. And I'm like, boulders. So what happened?
That sounds fun to me.
It sounded fun, but it began to plant the seed of doubt, right? It began to plant the seed of fear, right? Yeah. Because now here it is. I'm not physically seeing these boulders. The only thing I can do is imagine and envision these boulders that's making people turn away. Yeah. So as I get closer to marker 7, I'm seeing more people tell me, oh man, it's too hot. I'm done, right? So I'm thinking to myself, man, boulders, there's no more trails, right? So here it is. We finally arrived to marker 7. There's no longer any trails.
Oh man.
Here are the boulders.
And there's the boulders. Okay.
Here's the boulders.
I was going to ask.
For me, I realized that I'm wired different. I knew, now mind you, as we're working our way up, the view began to get better and better as we kind of worked our way up this mountain. So at marker 7, I'm like, man, this is a beautiful view.
Look at all that stuff down there that we came from.
But then for me, I realized me being wired differently, I began to get motivated, right? Because I said, for me, I kept saying, everybody want to make it to the top, but nobody wants to put in the work. And I said, if it looks good, if the view looks good where you are right now, just imagine the view when you make it to the top. So now I'm not gonna lie, my cousin's telling me like, hey cuz, we need to take a break. We need to take a couple breaks, right? And mind you, I'm so motivated and amped up in regards to this mountain because I'm physically on this mountain, right? And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm not giving up no matter what.
Could you see the top from there?
No, still could not see the top for marker 7, right? So here it is, here are these boulders. That I had to get there. Yeah. Now mind you, as we're going up this mountain, it's getting steeper, right? Now mind you, this is my first time ever climbing a mountain, right? So it was very symbolic for me because in life, I feel like, you know, I want to rise.
Oh, it's the first time you ever climbed a mountain.
First time, right? So I'm like, I don't have any equipment. You know, all I have is this water bottle, right? I'm trying to preserve the water that I do have, right?
Yeah.
So the whole purpose about this mountain, here it is, we're at Mountain 7. I'm so focused on getting to the top, right?
Let's do it.
Anyone else, I'm asking other people that made it, they're taking breaks, like, no, we haven't got there yet, we're taking a break. Man, I'm getting my hands dirty. I'm talking about I'm digging in. I'm grabbing on the stuff, getting up here.
Nice.
And now mind you, this is very important that everybody pays attention. As started at marker 7, I'm just focused. I want to get there, right? Don't know how far I have to go. Before I knew it,
you don't know how far you have to go, and you don't know which way to go.
Because
you only got kind of the instructions up to there.
Correct. So now, mind you, what's happening is as I'm working my way up, there's more people that I'm encountering that experience the top. Right? So what I realize about life is when you experience people that's been at the top, they're more likely to help you and guide you to where you need to go. People that never experienced it will discourage you to go any further.
That's true.
But people that's at the top, you're gonna find more help and people that encourage you, hey, you can do it, man. You're almost there. So here it is.
Like, I may not be at the top, but I'll help you get to where I'm at.
I'll help you get to where I'm at. Nice. So here it is, 2 guys, they're coming down. I said, man, how far we gotta go? He said, man, you got about 600 feet. He said, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not gonna be easy, but man, you're almost there. So here it is.
600 feet? That's
600 feet. He said, hey, do you want some water or something? I'm like, yeah. He was like, I got Gatorade. He's like, we're done. He was like, I don't want to have to carry this stuff back down. Right? So he's willing to give a helping hand, right? So he's like, hey, here's some more stuff.
Nice.
So here it is, we're climbing up. Now, mind you, I still don't know how far along I got. 600 feet. I'm like, oh my God, wow. But I'm motivated. Before you know it, I hit this curve, and it was a family. This family, husband, wife, 3 children. They're sitting there having a little picnic right here, right?
Nice.
Here it is, somebody else. Hey man, you want a snack? We got extra stuff. Would you like anything? I'm like, man, sure, right?
Yeah, man.
I said, how far I got? He said, that's the tallest summit right over to your right here. That's the tallest summit. You're there. Just walk right there. I kid you not. It was like I had to go through the last bushes of trees, and I imagine we'll share the video. I'll share the video, and I'll share the picture of the mountain that I climbed. I kid you not. I made it to the top of this mountain. The wind was different. The air was different. The most beautifulest thing is when you see birds in the sky, especially the vultures that circle around.
Oh yeah, they're like right there.
They're right there. But what was cool about this is I was above the vultures, right? Nice. It was priceless. This mountain was, because when I think of the vultures, I think about all of the people that try to tear you down, and when you do fail, they want to pick you apart and pick at you. So this mountain was so beautiful, and I'm sitting here at the top, and I'm like, man, I seen some beautiful views along marker 6 and 7, but I said nothing tops marker 10, which was the top marker at the top.
Dang.
And I just sat up there, and I didn't want to come down. I'm like, man, I'm not in a rush to come back down,
I got extra water.
So,
I got some food.
So I sat up there, man, and I looked at the view, and it was like I accomplished something. But what it showed me was, it motivated me in life. To say in life, there's mountains and you're gonna encounter people, and that's a part of
you
life.
Like actually just did a metaphor. You just like literally climbed a metaphor.
I literally climbed it, and it was beautiful. So I tell people out there in life, there's mountains that we're gonna face. There's challenges.
Absolutely.
And it's very easy to give up, right? It's very easy to listen to people that will give you advice that never experienced the top of the mountain. So be mindful of those people that you listen to that never even experienced the things that you're trying to accomplish in your life.
Yeah.
So that's something that I can encourage about my weekend, and say, listen, I experienced this. This really most definitely motivated. It hit home. It made me be more careful of things that I focus on, pay attention to. Ultimately, I know the direction that I want to go, that there's not a lot of people that's been there. Now, what's the plus side about it was, along the way, my cousin, he told me, he said, man, I'm not going to lie, I would have gave up at marker 7. He said, but what motivated me more was the fact that you were so enthused. Just seeing your energy. It was just like, man, you kept encouraging me and kept saying along the way, man, if you think this is nice, wait until we get to the top. You know, he said, Chris, he was like, I'm going to tell you the truth, man. He was like, I didn't want to climb the mountain in the first place, right? The first thing, and he's like, man, I have asthma, right? And he was like, that was one thing that deterred him away. You know, to say, you know, but mind you, that's a crutch. Sometimes people won't push themselves because of a condition. And then it's like, I'm not going to do it because of this condition. He said, man, I cannot believe I'm sitting here looking at this view. He was like, man, I would have never experienced this. Looking at the base, I had no idea what it would have looked like being at the top.
Yeah.
So sometimes, and I told him, I said, you want to know what the power is now? He said, what? And I told him, I said, as we come back down this mountain, it is our job and it is our duty to encourage as many people as possible, because we know
get up that mountain.
Yeah, because we know that there's a lot of people that's going to turn around, that's going to discourage people, but it's up to us to be the voice and say, listen, you can do it. And when you get to the top, oh my God, when you get to the top, it's beautiful. Wait till you get up there. It's worth it. So I kid you not, on our way back down, our legs were like jello at this point, coming down. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I was excited, like, oh my God, marker 2. Woo, one more marker, right? So as we were coming up, it was a couple coming up this mountain. And they said, did you go to the top? I said, yep, you just go to the top. She said, was it beautiful? I said, it was the most beautiful thing you're going to see around in this area. You're going to see everything. You're going to do it.
Nice.
She asked, she said, are we close? Now, she was only at marker 2. I said, I'm going to be honest with you. You're not close. You're going to have to endure some things, but it's going to be worth it. You know?
Yes.
It's going to be worth it. You're not close. You know, you got some work to put in. You're not close. But when you get there, it's going to be worth it. So no matter what, don't turn around. I kid you not, I've seen this 80-year-old, man, this guy, he could have been 90. No cane, no walking stick, no hiking stick or anything.
He's just going.
He's going. He had on sandals with socks, man. Sandals with socks, black socks at that, man. And I'm like, you're going up? And it was like, I can see in his eyes that he's done this before. He was like, yep, I'm on my way up there right now. And I was like, man, I told my cousin, I said, you know, this is what I want to be like. So me climbing that mountain, it kind of motivated me to find other mountains, to climb other mountains.
Well, you know what, man? We got to go to California.
Okay.
Because one of my favorite places in California is called Donner Lake.
Donner Lake.
And the summit there at Donner is like 7,434 feet.
Well, listen, you guys, I only did like 1,300 feet. So 7,000?
Well, you know, you don't climb that mountain. You drive up the mountain and you go rock climbing. But
okay.
But I mean, I could tell you that one of the most life-changing things that happened to me was when I went hiking up that mountain. So it was like my 25th birthday.
Nice.
My 25th birthday. We rented a cabin, and it was me, my friend Sonny, my friend Irma, my stepbrother. We rented this cabin for the weekend, and 11 o'clock at night, my brother from another mother, Sonny, he was like, I'm like, dude, let's go. It's a full moon. Let's go rock climbing.
So you rock climbed in the dark.
So we took his truck. We drove to the part of the mountain, and we parked, and we had to like go down this big ravine to get across to go over to start climbing the mountain. And because it's so high, there was still a little bit of snow in some places, some waterfalls, and I got to tell you, man, it was amazing. We started hiking at 11 p.m. We ended up stopping for about an hour, lit a fire because my socks were totally soaked because, you know, we didn't bring rock climbing equipment. We just were staying at a cabin, and then we're like, oh, let's just do it. But, you know, when we're out there, it's a full moon. It's very well lit. We're up in the mountains and all this stuff. And so we started making coyote sounds. And then all of a sudden, we started hearing all these other coyote sounds. But you want to know what it was?
Other people on the mountain?
It was other people climbing. Other
Nice.
people climbing the midnight full moon climb.
See, that's beautiful. You know what? The one thing that I would say about this mountain, even your story, it's almost ceasing the moment.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you went to that cabin, right? And you didn't bring any equipment to do it. And it's the same thing when we went to Mount Pinnacle. When we went, it was just, hey, let's go check it out. You know,
here I am, this is the way I am, and I'm going to just do it. And you want to know what? So the reason why it was so life-changing to me is because I was, I didn't think I could do it. Like, I just hiked for 8 hours.
See?
Like, I just hiked for 8 hours, and, like, we're up probably 500 feet, and we had to, like, come down this mountain and to get back to our cabin, like, at 8 in the morning.
See?
My friend Irma was like, where did you guys go? We've been hiking all night.
See, that's the thing right there, too, right? Challenge. Everybody that's listening to this podcast, watching this podcast, chiming in and hearing about this mountain.
What is your mountain?
Not only what is your mountain, but I think the issue that a lot of people deal with is self-defeat, right? You start only you have to take that first step, take that first step, do something that you wouldn't normally do in your life. And you'll be surprised of the results. You'll be surprised on the things that you can accomplish.
Absolutely.
If you take anything away from hearing this story in regards about mountains, right now, me and Mike both explain how we physically climb mountains. Mind you, I'm telling everybody right now, me physically climbing that mountain changed me, right? When I tell you, if you thought that I was motivated prior to, a car couldn't motivate me the way that it did, because that wasn't my drive, right? The reward wasn't money, right? It was for myself to see that view, and then I started realizing that, man, this mountain is powerful. This mountain is life. This is everything around me. This is what's going on. Hey, you're gonna have to climb. You're gonna have to sweat. You're gonna get dirty hands. You're gonna have to endure some things in order to experience.
You're gonna have to work.
For it.
At what is worth it.
Yep.
And so one of the things that I always say is make excuses to do something.
Yes.
Don't make excuses not to do it. Like, if you have this goal, make excuses to do it.
Yep. I like that.
Not excuses not
to do something. I kid you not, because, man, that was it. And then I told my cousin, I said, man, that's one thing to look at the mountain, but wouldn't it be cool to say you climbed the mountain?
Yes.
Like, we made it here. We see it.
That's an accomplishment.
But, man,
even if you only go to number 2 or number 3 or number 7, you still accomplished that.
You accomplished it. You know what I mean? And I kid you not, I told him, even being on the top of the mountain, everybody that I told I climbed the mountain, I just showed them the mountain, right? I just showed them a picture. I said I climbed that mountain. My children, no, you didn't, Dad. You didn't climb that mountain. I said, yes, I did. I climbed that mountain. They didn't believe me. So naturally, I had to have the footage, right? I had to have footage. I had to have, pictures of me on top of this mountain. And it was like, oh my God, you climbed that mountain? I'm like, yeah, right? So it's almost like you gotta have the proof, right? But what's cool about it is I'm able to encourage other people in their life.
Yeah.
So everybody.
That's what this is all about.
That's what it's all about. Encouraging, motivating people. That's what it's about. So ultimately.
And ultimately, you know what? You were Poptastic.
Absolutely.
You were positive, you were optimistic.
And productive.
And you were productive. You were like taking those steps. Yes. Every little step.
Every little step of the way. And I'll tell you this much. When I got to the boulders, once I started digging into the boulders, right? It wasn't that bad as everybody else portrayed. So it's amazing that when people stood in front of those boulders,
they made the excuse.
They made that excuse. Oh, well, I can't do that. Oh my God, look at this. But once you start going in there, it was a little challenging. But I'm gonna be honest with you. The boulders were pretty cool, and it was actually better than being on the trail, because the trail had different little rocks and gravels and stumble and dirt. It was like, man, it was solid. You got something to really hold on to and pull on and kind of get you up there, get your grip. And then it's almost like kind of like when you're going up the mountain, there's no purpose of looking back. It's like, man,
I ain't going that way.
I'm not going that way. I'm going straight, I'm going straight. And like I said, the more people that I began to see, now mind you, it was less people as we got higher.
And you know what? It's always that way.
It's always that way. And I kid you not, the people that we seen, they were more friendlier, they were more willing to help, they were more encouraging. And that's something that I took away from that mountain, like, wow, the people that I encountered, the type, mind you, it was almost like I was around like-minded individuals, right?
Yes.
Like, only the people that made it can experience this and can relate, right?
And can relate, exactly.
So that was something beautiful. Like I said, the mountain.
Because they knew
Yeah.
they knew the struggle to get
Absolutely.
to where they were going and to reach that
To reach that.
level.
Absolutely.
And now you have reached that same level with those people.
So just think about this. One thing that I did like about the family that was up there, the father, the wife, and the 3 children. Here it is, a father, right? He's already instilling something in his children at an early age.
Yeah.
Mind you, these are little kids, right? So these kids had to hike up. They didn't climb. They didn't carry all of their children. They made them go up too, you know?
Yep.
So my thing was, man, if little children can do this, and there's no fear in them, they were like, oh, wow. And they still had to come back down, right? That was powerful.
Yes.
Right? To where you're already instilling something in your children at an early age to climb this mountain, you know. And then I think ultimately it's about being exposed to it as well.
And you know what? Maybe that's kind of the way that I am, because like even when my mom was pregnant with me, she was up there at Donner Lake riding motorcycles all around the mountain, the campground, all that stuff. Like, you know, it's like it was 2.5 hours from where I used to live, and sometimes my friends and we would get in the Jeep. I would drive 2.5 hours up there. We would go 4-wheel driving all day, and then we drive all the way back down, like 18 hours of driving, just to like go climb a mountain, drive through some streams, like,
and to experience. I think that's what it's ultimately about, is the experience as well.
And bringing somebody with you, like, or helping them, I think that's more rewarding. Yeah. I think than just going up and coming back by yourself. It's going up and encouraging somebody. And that's why I think we're doing the podcast. That's why we're doing this, is so we can encourage people. And because when you are Poptastic and you kind of live a Poptastic life, it's a way of being.
Yep, absolutely.
And it's amazing. It's Poptastic.
Poptastic. You know, it is most definitely Poptastic. So Poptastic Nation, we most definitely hope that we were able to encourage somebody today to face some of those mountains in your life. There's mountains. Those mountains can come with challenges. Knowing that whoever you're around, right, or that's surrounding you, ask yourself this question. The people that's giving you advice and telling you what to do and not to do and how you should do, look at them and assess it and ask them, or ask yourself, have they been to the top? Have they experienced the things that you're trying to experience? Right. And if not, then ultimately you should put them to the side.
Maybe you need another trail guide.
Yep, you need another trail guide. You know.
So now with that said, what is your mountain? What is holding you back from climbing that mountain? Whether you're taking the first step or whether you're like at the boulders and you're trying to think like, man, maybe I'm just gonna stop and go back. Like, where are you at? And what can we do to help you get to the top? Because you know what? Like, you just went on this mountain. I've been on the Donner Summit. But you know what? That's not the highest mountain that I'm climbing.
Nope.
Like, I'm building an empire. Like, I've got a long, tall mountain, and I love to climb. And there's other entrepreneurs and people that have climbed or are climbing, like you with your business, me with my business, my other business partners, all this stuff. It's like we all have these goals, and we're all climbing this mountain.
So I have to chime in. One thing that I missed, that I left out, that's very important, right? Now, my cousin, he took breaks, right? He needed to take a break, right? Now, mind you, my adrenaline was really going.
You're like, let's
go, right? But one thing that I will say, I was considerate of my cousin, right? And I did stop, and I had my water.
Yeah.
I sat down with him, right? But what was beautiful about this journey was I appreciated the things that I was accomplishing along the way. My focal point, of course, was to get to the top, but I can't lie, at marker 5, the view was beautiful, and I sat and I observed. I took pictures at marker 5. I took pictures at marker 7. You know what I mean?
Nice.
And I realized ultimately
you got to enjoy the journey.
I had to enjoy the journey, right? I had to enjoy the journey and just embrace it all in all and be in all of the situation. Because if I would have rushed through it, it was like, whoo, right? But I can sit there and say, me taking that break and sitting back and we're talking and motivating, like, hey, we can do it. Let's get up there. That was beautiful. So make sure that you're enjoying what. So we're gonna say you at marker 7 at your